So, pro-Western sources have been asking a lot of questions lately, and this question is being directed to the relationship between Burkina Faso and China. Ladies and gentlemen, you won't believe what these allegations are. Now, what is the intention of China? They said now they are paying critical attention to the way China is harming Burkina Faso. According to them, they don't even see it as Burkina Faso purchasing based on their own financial capability what they need to address the issues of pressing concern in the Sahel. Now, let me make this very clear. Whatever Burkina Faso purchase, it's not just for Burkina Faso alone. We've seen the application of Burkina Faso military capability in Benin Republic. We've seen a close coordination with Togo. You see, the security of Burkina Faso is a shared security. And it is only imperative for Africans to understand what the intentions of these narratives are. The security of one is the security of all. We have to know that we all have collective role to play in this whole, war against imposed aggression, because that is an aggression that is imposed. Now, we do have to understand something. This question they are asking, that what is the intention of China, that China is trying to spread its influence in Africa. Now, even if it's China spreading its influence, let's ask a critical question here. When Burkina Faso requested for capabilities to be able to combat the scourge of terrorism, Burkina Faso was literally told that, look, it will be too little. We don't want this. We want to maintain status quo. What type of status quo? Cutting deals and sipping tea with the jihadists. And now that China has given Burkina Faso the necessary capabilities, I stand to be corrected. Most of the Burkinabe capabilities are from China. Military capabilities are from China. That we've seen. Even there is one that we are seeing recently. So long, I don't even know. I mean, it's like two different combat vehicles joined together. Ladies and gentlemen, Burkina Faso has become a god box in the Sahel. And to be honest with you, if care is not taken, I think Burkina Faso for many years to come will be even stronger. Captain Ibrahim Traore is actually taking the right step, and Burkina Faso is moving in the right direction. You can see that they are developing, they are using their resources, because nobody will dare to just walk in to Burkina Faso as we speak. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you feel about this relationship? Do you think, we should just take this criticism with a pinch of salt? Remember, these are pro-Western sources. Now, what do I feel about it? I think they're just crying wolf. Because, look, China is a superpower. If it's somebody that they can tell to stop, or someone they can sabotage, whose deal, the deal between Burkina Faso and China, if it was a power that could be sabotaged by the West, they would have done they would have done it. The country would have told Burkina Faso that, look, we don't have a strategic interest in doing what we want to do again. But China is a superpower. China has no ulterior motive. Even though it has, Burkina Faso is looking more independent than ever under the governance of a superstar African hero. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this success in Burkina Faso? Now, in the second information, which is very, very critical. In the north-central part of Burkina Faso, and to be precise, the Kaya region of Burkina Faso. Now, there is something unprecedented that just happened in the last 48 hours. They are trying to sweep this information under the radar, but the more they sweep it under the radar, the more we bring it out. We discover and uncover it. So there is this truck, heavily loaded. This truck joined so many trucks that were not aware of the intention of the driver of this truck. Now, I'm not blaming the driver, but we're trying to get to somewhere. This truck, inside this truck, was over 100 barrels of cyanide. Ladies and gentlemen, This was going to northern Burkina Faso. And you know, Burkina Faso is a gold field on its own. They discover gold here today, tomorrow they discover gold there. You know, a lot of mineral resources. Now, with the cyanide, you can produce an unimaginable level of explosive that can have catastrophic effect. But ladies and gentlemen, permit me to say this. What could have been their intention? Who is behind this? What is the plan? Let's continue with the story. So it was kept at the lowest part of the vehicle, and on top of it, there were several planks that were arranged on top of this, you know, barrels of cyanide, and on top of it, there were different sacks of cement, just to make it look like, you know what, nothing is going on. We are just like every other citizen. But I have said this several times on this platform. Burkina Faso is so vicious at this point militarily. In terms of capability, I think Burkina Faso should be. I was looking at the military list recently, and I was saying DRC. That was it. When you see Burkina Faso to DRC right now, it's like Jesus. Man, ladies and gentlemen, Burkina Faso to DRC right now is like heaven to earth. The gap is too much. You all saw what happened between Rwanda, the rebels that came into DRC, you know, when they battled together with the mercenaries that came in from Rwanda to battle the DRC troops. The DRC troops were disappearing. They were running. They were deserting. They don't got no fight in them. Like they say, it's not the number of dog in the fight. It is the measure of the fight in the dog. We've seen the highest level of aggression against the Sahelian forces. And Burkina Faso have proved. Even Mali. But Burkina Faso have proved. Even look at the citizens of Burkina Faso. How much they want to join the VDP so that they can fight. Look, it's in you. If it's not there, it's not there. You can teach people how to fight. Yes, fine. But the fight is inside, is inborn. Burkina Faso people, I'm telling you, their history, I still need to go and read more about their history. I think by nature, these people are fighters. They fought to be at this point. To have Ibrahim Traore as the president right now, the Burkinabe people fought tooth and nail. They lost civilians, but they stood their ground. They will not, look, Burkina Faso people, don't mess with them. So, as we were saying, with how well, meticulously this thing was planned and they concealed, they were intercepted and they were caught. You know, Burkina Faso troops, they work with both kinetic capabilities and they also have K9s. I'm talking about K9s in the grade of the Belgian Malinois. So they are very, very smart K9s and they can spot all these threats almost immediately. So they were able, it's called the urban warfare capabilities in Burkina Faso. So they were able to intercept it and they were able to confiscate it. You can see the drum right here, over 100. Now, we don't know that a cyanide can be used for several things, part of which is creation of explosive. And you know, if it's explosive, you know the people that are intending to use it. But on the other side, the people that are also willing to use this cyanide, most especially the scale, the number of the cyanide, the people that are mining, they might actually want to blast some, you know, rocky surfaces. And you know, it is used in the refining, illegal crude refining of gold. So these are the possible eventualities that we are looking at right now. Now, I want to say this. Captain Ibrahim Traore is now on a new level of boosting innovative mind in Burkina Faso. Now he has made promises. He has now given price tag to some of the best innovative mind in Burkina Faso. Now he wants to wake up that civilization in us. Remember, there is a saying that civilization started in Africa. Captain Ibrahim Traore is trying to test that storyline, that myth. Is it true that we are some of the smartest humans on the planet? Ladies and gentlemen, now there is a price for innovation. So let's see what we can do. Ladies and gentlemen, without no further ado, let's listen to what Captain Ibrahim Traore said in this video. Meanwhile, I did not use the lip sync and I didn't convert it to full English. I only subtitled it. So you can go along with it.
Et j'ai demandé d'après les prix qui sont servis. Le premier prix, c'est 5 millions, c'est ça? Deuxième prix, c'est 3 millions et l'autre prix, c'est 2 millions. Bon, nous allons changer à partir d'aujourd'hui. Et j'espère qu'il y a de bonnes inventions pour cette fois-ci. S'il y en a, on multiplie tous les prix par 5.
Bon, il va assurer cela. OK?
L'annonce en elle seule démontre à souhait la place que l'État au plus haut sommet accorde à la recherche, à l'innovation et à l'invention. Le président du Faso veut des chercheurs qui trouvent, des innovateurs et inventeurs patriotes qui osent et qui mettent leur savoir et leur savoir-faire au service de la nation. C'est la quintessence du message du président du Faso à l'ouverture du 15e Forum national de la recherche scientifique et des innovations technologiques FAIRCIT. L'édition coïncide avec les 30 ans du FAIRCIT et se veut celle de la culture de l'entrepreneuriat scientifique et technologique au service de la relance de l'industrialisation au Burkina.
Cette 15e édition se veut une édition de rupture. Le FAIRCIT devra désormais être cette interface crédible où la science et la technologie se mettent au service de la société à travers des résultats de recherche concrets, endogènes et immédiatement utilisables.
So, ladies and gentlemen, in the next information we'll be talking about, right? Niger Republic has now rejected a plan that the Nigerian hierarchy were not involved in. Now, they were once involved in this plan during the regime of President Buhari in Nigeria. Because, I don't know, but the government of Bazoum at the time and Buhari, they were working hand in hand. The Fulani Mujahideen were strolling from the Tilaberi region, from there. They were strolling into Katsina. Niger almost belonged to Nigeria at that point. That was why Nigeria had so much temerity, so much effrontery and fortitude to tell Nigeria to stand down. We were even supplying electricity to them at that time. The Nigerian regime was so corrupt at the time. But now under General Abdurrahman Chiani, the honor is back. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria had a plan then to supply gas, liquefied natural gas, to the Maghrebs. I'm talking about Algeria. I'm talking about Morocco. I'm talking about Egypt. They had this plan to supply liquefied natural gas to these people. Now, after Abdurrahman Chiani came to power, based on the things that they've seen, the manifestation at the political level, that the level of compromise they've seen in the aiding and abating of terrorism. President Abdurrahman Chiani is now saying he doesn't want any type of deal with the hierarchies. So this pipeline is supposed to go from Nigeria through Niger to Algeria, then from Algeria it will now be redistributed to the Maghrebs. Ladies and gentlemen, Niger has now said, never will that pipeline go through their country. You know why I think I support the Nigerian regime? This could actually lead to some sort of conflict of interest later on. And it could even create some type of eventualities that, looking at the level of corruption we have in Nigeria today, Nigeria might even be proactively, looking for a regime change in Niger so that, they can even have more influence in Niger Republic. And looking at the level of, the clemency, the lenience, the cutting deals and sipping tea that they are giving to both bandits, Boko Haram and everything. In fact, in Nigeria today, being a mujahideen has now become one of the most lucrative occupations that anybody can, embark upon, as we have it today. So I support solely the intent of General Abdurrahman Chiani to say, hell no, I don't want any deal with Nigeria. Remember, Nigeria rejected them. Nigeria deserted them. We disappointed these people, given the historical, ancestry of both nations. Well, what do you think about that strategic decision from General Abdurrahman Chiani? Do you think it should, be a little bit lenient, or do you think that is a strategic victory right there? Can this pipeline pass through any other country? Maybe yes, but there is no way anything like a pipeline will go through, except if they want to go through Chad. But going through Niger will be the easiest. Will Burkina Faso let it go through? I don't know. So these two countries are highly consequential. Even though they are landlocked, you can see where the benefits of this country comes in. So ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the next information. Now, there's a counterterrorism victory in Mali, where several elements were actually liberated and sent through the gates of Valhalla today. Ladies and gentlemen, Valhalla was an understatement. They marched into the wall of Valhalla like valiant mujahideens that they are. The Nigerians, recently they have been striking precision strikes left and right. The number was actually unprecedented. I can't actually show you the numbers here. Even if I try to blow, I don't know what side of the policy is going to fall in. But you can actually visit our Telegram channel. We've actually dropped, the video there. A lot of these people were liberated, covered in the red sand of Mali. It's a big victory. It's a big victory. You have to see for yourself so that you will be able to appreciate the level of annihilation that was carried out. Now, we are seeing new capabilities, right? Because one thing about warfare is the level of adaptation that can happen in real time. One thing about modern warfare is you see a capability from an enemy today, you create a counter capability. Now, because you've created a counter capability and the previous capability of the enemy is not working, the enemy tries to create another capability that can beat your counter capability. And before you know it, there is modernization. There is a shift in warfare. Now, we're not seeing in Mali, given the fact that the AES forces have almost rendered, the elements useless. You don't hear no noise from FLA anymore. You don't hear nothing from them. The AES forces are keeping them in check, most especially the Malian forces. Now, the FLAs have actually dropped a precise image. They said they were monitoring whatever was going on in the Kidal region, that they noticed that the Russian African Corps troops were actually moving towards a mining site and all of that. They said they should know that they are watching them, and just the moments the Russian African Corps troops, they close their eyes and they lose focus, that they're going to strike them. That is just noise making. That's the only thing these people can do. When last did you hear anything negative about the African Corps? And when last did you hear the FLA come out on social media to say, oh, we carried out this operation, it was successful? Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you the truth, right? The African Corps, together with the farmers of Mali, they've beaten the FLA to the ground. There is no war again. This old Azawadian, whatever they're talking about, is dead in its track. It's gone, forgotten, no more story. Look, to these people, narrative is more important than the realities on the line of contact. But anyway, you choose which side you want to belong to. Is it the side of the narrative? Is it the side of the cheers and go back inside to cry? Or you want to be on the side of truth and reality? So ladies and gentlemen, in the last information of today, now we've seen the true influence of Russia in Madagascar. Ladies and gentlemen, President Nandrinarina has now given his first press briefing to Sputnik Africa. Now Vladimir Putin has sent some Russian envoys to Madagascar. A lot of people have been asking me why, they said, why was the transition of power? Why was it so smooth? Now, are we expecting any type of jihadi or mujahideen to suddenly spring up in Madagascar? Let me tell you something. The situation in Madagascar, we are talking about the CAPSAT here, the most elite force in Madagascar. The current president of Madagascar knows the importance of security in your sovereignty. And I can promise you and guarantee you, for the fact that this man was jailed in the previous regime, no, that only means one thing. He's anti-imperialist in his policies. And just to tell you, for the fact that he has now allied himself with Russia, ladies and gentlemen, game close, checkmate. It's your boy 7200 signing out, enough said. But before I go, kindly do well to drop your opinion on what you think in the comment section below. And if you have a conflicting opinion, don't worry. You can always put your opinion out there. I can equally learn from you. So I really, really want to appreciate everybody. Y'all show me so much love. I don't deserve it, but y'all show me too much love on this platform. I tell a lot of people that as long as I got you guys, man, anything can happen. I so much believe in you all. And I continue to work out every day to bring you the realities that is happening in the motherland. I love you all. You all are my families, and I want to appreciate everything you're done. For the likes, for the comments, for the share, for even joining the Telegram channel. It means that even beyond the information, we've been able to establish some level of trust. Ladies and gentlemen, and I would never take this for granted. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching, and God bless you.